Okay, Assalamu alaikum. Now, this is the center panel for the kameez, and it's been embroidered, so it's almost like predetermined how much you can keep it as the width on the bottom. But if we kept the width consistent, and if we were going all the way up the same, then on the waist area it would become too wide, and the shape would not come out, because the panels that we put in there would have to be a lot smaller. So what we're going to do is we're going to narrow it down as it goes to the waist, and then take it out again as it goes towards the shoulder. Now, I've had one viewer who has actually queried me on this, and I've tried to explain it in as much detail as possible. But she's asked me to correct hers, and it's very difficult to correct somebody else's when you don't know what exactly she's using. I can go by the end measurements, but I don't know what she started with. Is she going exactly, and even I forget from one to the other what I've done in a previous video. So because I do so many teachings, it's very difficult to remember precisely, and I often go with the flow. So a lot of these designs, they're not predetermined. You can experiment with them, and you can find out the perfect measurements for yourself. So in this case, what we're going to do is we need a few measurements on this, and then we need to take away the excess, and then we need to work out the panels that are going to go on the side and sort of marry them in with this so that they both mix in. So just find the tape measure and then go on to... Okay, so where we're going to make it the narrowest down from the waist is going to be about 15-16 inches. So we just put a line across here just so that we know that that's the waist, and then the waist width on the waist area, we sort of, if you measure on yourself, then you'd get an idea of where, like normally we do the bust to bust measurement, but if you go down from the bust towards your waist, especially if you're a slimmer person, then you would even be less. Normally now, generally on the bust to bust measurement, it's about 8 inches. Leave about half an inch for seaming, so you would be looking at 8 inches from here, and that excess you'd take away. Now also, this has to be blended back in, so take that down a bit, just as you do in a dart. If you're a sort of a high-waisted person, meaning that if you haven't got a bulging stomach, then you'd have a more of a flatter and a lengthier waist, and that will give you more of a flatter figure as well, a flattering figure, sorry. So what we'd do is we'd sort of, and then as we go back towards the top, we'll slightly take it out, because we're going to join the panels. Now there's two ways of doing this. If you were doing a princess cut, then I think on this I'm going to go for, it's a nice embroidered piece, so I don't want to, I'm going to go for the princess look. I'm going to curve it in from here and then do her shoulder. So what I've done is I've taken that out for a princess cut. So a shoulder measurement, slightly sloped, half an inch slope, and taken off the slope bit. Down from the top, the cut for the princess, we want it about 5.5 inches, and then I'll mark it off again. I'm not going to shape this yet. When I've attached the pieces, I'm going to shape it more when the panel is attached onto this. So this is the waisted area, 16 inch from the top, but the bust point of this is approximately 12 inches. So from 12 inches, we're keeping an even distance of about 7 inches, and then from 7 inches we've started to take it out and blend it in with the bottom. So this is now not the final coat, this is like a rough coat, and this is embroidered, and what I've done is I've left a slight bit to give me enough so that when I've seamed it I end up to the embroidery. Also, another thing to bear in mind is when you're doing galati necklines or granddad collar necklines is to not make it overly tight on the shoulder area. So this is the excess. We're going to just take that away and open up. So we want the panels adding to this, and this will give it, now the width that we're going to have on this is obviously determined by our border strips. Okay, so this isn't overly wide. The width that we can make on this dress is only going to be 39 inches. So basically we want, this is already 19 inches. So we've got 5 inch on either side is what we're going to have as the panels.